Were the Martha's Vineyard planes a good one-time stunt, or should GOP governors keep up the migrant buses and flights to left-wing cities as a long-term strategy?
Keep it up over and over and over again. As you know, I introduced legislation to do this a year ago. I've been calling on Republicans to do this a year ago. I'm very glad Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis took my advice and carried it out. It was the right thing to do. It's totally transformed the debate. But rich leftist socialists lost their minds when 50 illegal immigrants showed up at Martha's Vineyard. Tomorrow we ought to send 100. The next day we ought to send 200, then 500, then 1,000. The volume is so massive. And listen, the reason to do it, I mean, it has been amazing watching the media and all these blue check mark activists losing their minds. And they're saying, oh, DeSantis and Abbott are engaged in human trafficking. No.
It's a humanitarian crisis.
It is not human trafficking to ask somebody, would you like to go to Martha's Vineyard? I will fly you for free there. That's not called human trafficking, despite all the idiots saying it. It is also not cruel and inhumane to take someone to a billionaire's playground. Martha's Vineyard is, I've actually never been, so I don't really know what Martha's Vineyard is, but from everything I see, it's a really fancy place. I know the Obamas have a $12 million home there, so it's a bunch of rich people, and it's presumably really darn nice. The reason to send them there is it's about the only thing that forces the corrupt corporate media to actually cover what's happening. And it also shows the utter hypocrisy. We talked in the last podcast about how the county executive in Martha's Vineyard, when I proposed this legislation, said they would welcome the illegal immigrants there. They wanted to be a haven for them. And I didn't know what I was talking about. There was no border crisis. As soon as they showed up, oh crap, they declared a crisis. But additionally, it forces the Democrats and the media to defend their incoherence. What did they do in Martha's Vineyard? Within 24 hours, they put them on buses and shipped them away to a military base. You know, AOC tweeted out, said, shout out to the people of Massachusetts and the people of Martha's Vineyard for demonstrating the very best of American values. And I did something I don't do often. I retweeted AOC. I said, look, well, what did Martha's Vineyard do? They deported them within 24 hours. I agree. Let's emulate Martha's Vineyard. But
the very best of American values.
I assume that means Texas can do the same thing. Can we put them on a bus and ship them back to where they came from within 24 hours? Can we get them out? Look, the volume is crushing, and all of these self-righteous virtue signalers are ignoring what is happening. This is human slavery. To see lefties saying it was cruel and inhumane to send them to Martha's Vineyard. No, you know what's cruel and inhumane? Hundreds of thousands of children being abused and sexually assaulted by human traffickers under Joe Biden. You know what's cruel and inhumane? Thousands upon thousands of women being raped by human traffickers under Joe Biden. You know what's cruel and inhumane? Hundreds of immigrants abandoned to die in the desert. Pregnant ladies, old people, children dead in the desert week after week. You know what's cruel and inhumane? 53 illegal immigrants dead in a tractor trailer of heat because of the human traffickers under Joe Biden. You know what's cruel and inhumane? Over 100,000 people dying of fentanyl overdoses because of the chaos of Joe Biden's open borders. You know what's cruel and inhumane? Thousands of teenage boys working for the cartels in every city in America because they owe thousands of dollars to the cartel. You know what's cruel and inhumane? Thousands of teenage girls in forced prostitution because they owe thousands of dollars to the cartel. And you know what's cruel and inhumane? A corrupt media that won't report on any of that. But they suddenly notice when Buffy's tea time is disturbed at Martha's Vineyard, we ought to keep doing that every damn day till they're forced to cover the human slavery disaster that Joe Biden is responsible for.